This is the Figma Styles female body Chiaki, the Backless Sweater version. An original creation by Good Smile. I think. It's an OC, but I'm not sure who made it. All I do know is that they've definitely got a MILF thing, no questions asked. That's not really a deal breaker though, especially in my case. I mean, have you seen what I like on Twitter? That sad is my cup of tea. I unboxed this figure live on stream on this channel where I filmed this review and shared my general opinion on the figure. But today I'm gonna go deeper into why I honestly think this is a pretty good figure. Having her in hand, I can say this figure looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, sure. It's really simple, so there's barely anything to mess up. But what they did make looks pretty nice. The sculpting looks really good, and it looks decently proportioned too. It actually looks way better than what my expectations were. And the coloring here looks pretty good too. While plain, it has this really nice matte finish. I have no other words for it. It just looks nice. But some of this detail is hidden behind the backless sweater. And yes, this is in fact an actual polyester sweater. It looks nice, and the gray color is actually pretty nice too. And it's stretchy too. But something I was worried about, even in the promotional images, is that the sweater would be way too much of a hassle to put on, and it would show the gaps of the body underneath. But thankfully that's not the case. Putting on the sweater isn't that complicated at all. Just remove the heads and the shins, and then get it onto the body. And if you have problems where it shows these gaps, you can pull down the sweater to get rid of the gaps. And there. But also remember to be careful, since small-scaled clothing is pretty delicate, so don't go crazy pulling it down. And with the sweater on, I have to say, this figure looks really nice. She just has this really mature and elegant feel to the figure. The look of the soft sculpt of the body and the sharp realism of the polyester sweater, it blends so well and gives this figure a lot of personality to it. And personally, I don't mind the backless sweater. The rather lewd nature of a backless sweater really ties in that elegant feel to the figure's looks. While I would have preferred a full set of soft mommy clothes, I still really like the sweater. It just flows really nicely with the design of the figure. I feel like everything I said could be summed up by saying this thing looks hot as hell. Let's talk about her head. I mean, the hair is okay. The hair has this really rounded off sculpt to it, and there's barely any line work to the ends of the hair. But that really doesn't bother me much since I also really like the style and color of it, so I guess I'm gonna give it a pass, but I still would have preferred it to be sharper, which is a consistent issue I see with Figma figures. But her face looks amazing. This is by far one of the best neutral faces I've seen on a Figma figure. Even if she's just relaxed, her face still has some emotion to it. It's so well made, and it perfectly shows what type of personality this figure could have. Her smile and mature eyes makes her look like a motherly figure, and as almost everyone knows, I love that. A lot. I don't know where I was going with that. And if you remember what I said about the Mamako figure, it's a MILF figure. How could you not want it? But a con I'd like to say about this figure, even if the figure looks pretty good, the joints are still a bit bothersome. And while it doesn't look like something that would make me want to commit a felony, I really don't like the elbows and the knees. The rest look fine, but these joints specifically bother me a lot. It just breaks up the sculpt so much that it weighs down the figure by a ton. And I know that joints don't always look the best, but this just feels so wrong. Like Figma shoehorned these joints in instead of actually getting these joints to not break up the flow. Back then I praised the joints for looking okay, but I feel like there isn't really a good excuse anymore with this. I think my opinion changed on this when I saw the Sotai Shoujo Tien line by Kotobukiya, which looked pretty nice honestly. But I'll be real, the joints aren't the end of the world, I just have to accept it even though I don't like it. Which is what I said when I started 9th grade. This figure doesn't come with much, but what she does come with are pretty decent. Several different pairs of hands, they're nothing special. They just exist for her to be put into various different poses. It's not the best selection, but honestly, what else do you really need? She also comes with optional high heels, and I personally prefer these. Because for one, high heels are hot, and second, there's something about bare feet on figures that's kinda weird. The high heels look awesome. The finish on it really elevates the quality of the figure. It's so striking compared to the rest of the matte finish in the light colored body. And then an alternate face, and is it weird to say I'm attracted to a figure? I'm 14, I'll pass this off as a joke. It just looks so goddamn cute that I love it, and I want it on her forever. And then a basic Figma stand. Nothing to see here, it's what you'll come to expect. There's not much you can do with these accessories. I mean, at least not force accessories that give absolutely nothing of value to the figure, but I still would have liked to see more. Maybe some glasses, because after doing an edit with her in glasses, goddamn, I need that in my life. And maybe a bit more facial expressions. Maybe a seductive glance, a seductive smile, you know, anything that looks seductive. Articulation-wise, I prefer this over the last Figma I've handled. It just feels more fluid and nice, and the elbows don't make me want to die even if they still look like garbage. I'm not excusing how the joints look, but the range here just feels so nice and well made that I find it hard to hit on the joints that much. And the best part about this is that she doesn't look stupid when posed. Any pose you get her in, she can look good in it. No overly odd feeling joints, which I personally love. She's around 14 centimeters tall, so pretty small. And usually I'd say that size is small, but honestly I like her like this. I mean, I did buy her as a drawing reference, so I don't mind her being small. Overall, it's a really nice and solid figure. Not too expensive either. $60 or so is a decent price for her. She looks really nice and plays it really well. Just a shame that she doesn't come with more accessories, and the joints can be a bit bothersome, but all of these are outweighed by how much fun I have with this figure. I honestly didn't expect me to like this figure this much. She's so simple and yet she's still really striking and eye-catching on my shelf. I really didn't expect that this figure out of everything would become a favorite piece in my collection. Don't get me wrong, this is not up to par with Toronto Gridman by how much I love the figure, but it shows how close. I feel like it's quite rare for me to not be complaining about a Figma figure, so I guess I should pick up another Figma figure soon. I mean, they look pretty okay. Figma DX Akane Shinjo looks pretty good, as well as Figma Rika Takarada. But let's be real, I have better ways for my finance manager to hate me. And what I mean about that is Figma came out with a version of soft mommy clothes. So when's a pre-order?